What's up, my wondrous little watermelons? This is Rob from The Gay Guy Plays, and yes, it is official, I have run out of traditional Chinese New Year's fruits. However, that just means we're going back to basics, including another episode of The Daily Grind. Now, today we have a very interesting topic, which I like to call the Let's Not Forget About This list. Now, as many of you guys know, whenever DE gets their hands on a new project, they tend to do a lot of focusing on the bug fixes, the balancing, and all of that kind of stuff on it, and tend to forget about some of their other previous releases. Now, I do have to say that watching the most recent dev stream, they said that they were going to focus on Railjack as well as Kuvaliches, and I'm glad that they have not forgotten about Kuvaliches, because sometimes in their past, they have been known to leave old projects in the dust. So what I actually went ahead and did live on stream is we compiled a list of items that, you know, we haven't forgotten about yet, DE. We gotta hold you accountable and make sure that you don't leave these projects incomplete. So we've got some Mimi stuff, we've got some more future stuff, and then we've got some things that really definitely need to be addressed in the middle. All right, so let's kick things off with, you know, the standard meme, hashtag trash bag. Please, no more forced vacuum on the trash queen. We do know that she has a prime coming up, and I'm gonna tell you right now, I ain't spending jack shit money on that bitch unless she does not have forced vacuum on there. And I'm not saying get rid of it, I'm saying make it an option. Next up, we have Zephyr Deluxe. Ooh, I've got somebody in chat who was feeling really dirty about it because they love Zephyr to the high heavens, and as soon as they heard, yeah, this is the reason why when they showed off the infested mask, they're like, yeah, this is why Zephyr Deluxe hasn't come. But as of now, we know that they've scrapped that project and are actually going to be starting from scratch, and they're going to be hopefully releasing some new concept art for her soon because she has been long overdue, and the whole Zephyr Deluxe meme thing has gone on for a tad bit too long. Speaking of things that have gone on for too long, Hydroid Deluxe Prime trailer, or Hydroid Prime trailer, sorry. Yeah, we would still like that, DE. We'd still like a whole bunch of Prime trailers for all of the Primes that are out there. I'm just saying. Now, memes aside, let's jump into the biggest thing that everybody's been wondering about. The new war has been sitting in a state of a limbo for count them two, freaking Tenno-cons now. So I'm wondering what is going on with this, and I'm crossing my fingers that, like they had stated in previous dev streams, that it's not just going to be a quest, but it's going to be a whole lot more. So I'm almost wondering if New War is going to be an Empyrean expansion, and it's going to get us into some more of these sentient tile sets that we saw with, like, the Anomaly. Because that's the only thing that I could think of that they would do in order to expand, unless they're going with another progression system, and that's why it's taking so long for them to actually release it, because they want to make sure that it's as balanced as it can possibly be, and it's as rewarding as it can possibly be. So that's definitely one of the biggest thing. Actually, I think that's the biggest thing on the radar. Where is New War? Speaking of things that we've been waiting for quite some time, we've had a little bit of a drip feed when it comes to Melee 3.0, or as it's known right now, Melee 2.9999997. But we're waiting for the Phase 3, which of course will include the limit break attacks that are kind of replacing the channeling attacks that we've seen before. Now, I'm curious to see how this is going to play out, whether it's just going to feel like channeling 2.0, or if it's going to feel like something that is actually different. In addition to that, and I love that stream chat picked up on this, whatever happened to dual wield melee? Right? I love being able to dual wield my Glaive Prime as well as, you know, my Lotto Prime or whatever in my second hand, just being able to go at it with this. We've seen them show it off before with machetes, but that kind of just went to the wayside and completely and utterly disappeared. Now, I personally think it would be cool if we could have like a pistol in one hand and a whip in the other. Like, how Indiana Jones is that? Actually, I don't know if Indiana Jones ever had a pistol, but it's going on in my brain. So I definitely want to see dual wield melee come with Phase 3 of Melee, actually 3.0. That's another thing that we've been waiting for quite some time. Now, I've got some personal stakes in the next one, which is the Kuva upgrade for Kuva Disruption. Like, we've been sitting on Koopa Disruption for a while. It's a great game mode. It's more difficult than standard Koopa Survival, at least in my opinion. It requires you to be more engaged than Koopa Survival. You can kind of go autopilot in Koopa Survival as it stands. But you know, Koopa Disruption is more difficult, does not have as many rewards, and it kind of is just sitting there as an alternative, less efficient way of getting Koopa. So a part of me is just kind of like, well, you know, in Koopa Survival, we can get relics and Koopa, and we can get it at an increased rate, while in Koopa Disruption, we still have the same amounts of Koopa being dropped. The only thing that's unique about their pools over there is, of course, the Universal Medallion, which, as we know, is not quite universal. It's like 2.99997 universal. In addition to that, of course, what came with all of that hullabaloo, and let's not forget about this, is the replacement for Umbral Echoes. They owe us something. Well, when I say they owe us, I don't mean like they, because listen, we always get those people in chat say, oh my god, look at how entitled. They feel like they are owed everything. No, what I'm saying is they stated that they were going to have something that was Umbral Echoes replacement. And as you guys know, that was that terrible, terrible idea where they created this drop that would allow your Warframe sentience for 24 hours, and you'd have to keep farming it over and over again just so that you could maintain that buff. Fantastic, right? Not really. But we still haven't seen hide nor hair of the replacement of that, or any kind of suggestion as to what would replace that, you know? I'm saying, hey, listen, you could put an Exilus weapon adapter in there or something. Like, do something to at least make that game mode a little bit more desirable, because right now, Koopa Disruption, while I personally find it more fun, it's really not as rewarding, not even remotely close. Next up, now this is something that came from some players that were a little bit bitter about it, and I feel kind of bitter too. Whatever happened to the Orokin Warfan? Remember that? Listen, there are several weapons that exist in the melee category that are just teensy tiny, right? They just don't have very well fleshed out, I guess, rosters of weapons. And one of those, of course, is the fan. And they showed us concept art of this Orokin Warfan. They've even shown us, I believe it was on Kahora and her deluxe skin, that she would be getting a skin for fans. And I'm like, why are we gonna get skin for fans when we only got one fan? I'm just saying, that's kind of rude. So I would like to see the Orokin Warfan actually be put into the game and see how that all works out. Now, speaking of something that I was a fan of, you like that little transition, the Warframe new player trailer. Remember that? Remember how we saw that in the last TennoCon? And I'm gonna be honest with you, that thing existed much longer before that. I'm not gonna tell you how I got that information, but you know, that new Warframe player trailer, that was existing for a while, and they released it at last year's TennoCon, and again, let's not forget about this. Why hasn't it been implemented into the game? And I understand that there have been some big releases towards the end of the year with last time, but I'm just saying, let's not forget that that's a thing that needs to be done, because it was one of those eye-catching moments from the last TennoCon where we're like, oh my god, that's so crazy! And it does give us more lore and more backstory, and as you guys saw with some of the surveys, a lot of people were very interested in the lore of the game, and I think that this could be a great way to kind of flesh that out a little bit. Now, moving along, and this is actually going to be tying in to something that they brought up on the latest dev stream. They said that they were working on an expansion for Fortuna, which I'm very, very happy to hear. But one of the things that we have not seen anything about was, of course, Pets 2.0. And they said on the latest dev stream they're going to be introducing a melee MOA. I'm like, okay, so you're going to introduce another pet. But we talked about Pets 2.0 like a lot last year and talked about how the balance was off, Sentinels weren't quite there. There was just some things that were not quite feeling right when it came to companions. So part of me is like, all right, so where's your Pets 2.0 coming in? They were asking for ideas on Twitter, and you know, people were handing them out left, right, and center, and we still have not seen anything about that. The other thing that we have not seen, well, technically we have seen it, but we haven't seen it do anything, is the third orb mother. Of course, we know that they are chilling out there in Fortuna, but they're not doing anything. So I'm hoping with this Fortuna expansion that we are going to be getting the third Orb Mother to go ahead and fight, and hopefully they place some really good rewards behind her. I hope that they make the fight really challenging, because the first two fights, one was more technical, one was more fun and cinematic. I hope that this last one is difficult and cinematic. That's what I want. Like technical and cinematic. Like technically difficult and cinematic. The other thing that we have not seen, and I'm hoping because, of course, the new pet MOA means that they're adding more parts into Fortuna, maybe we see some primary kick gun parts added in with those MOA things. That would be nice, right? That's something that they actually promised well, I don't know if they promised way back in the day, but they said it was a thing. So I'm crossing my fingers that it does become a thing. They spoke on it and we have not seen it whatsoever. So let's not forget about this. Moving along, these last two are just cosmetic, so don't be mad. But this is, of course, male operator hair. They showed us some sick hair a while back that they never put into the game. Where is it? Where is our male operator hair? Like, I need a little extra zhuzh, all right? In addition to that, we have the Ash and Garuda deluxe skins. The reason why I'm mentioning it in this portion, because keep in mind, there's the I'm giving you slack portion that's following this, but this whole portion right now is the like, yo, where is it? Where is it? The Ash and Garuda deluxe skins. Now these ones, I feel like we already saw kind of models of, or just really, really high renders of at the last TennoCon. They looked like they could have already been halfway, if not almost full way done. We'll be getting Avara Deluxe soon, which I'm very, very excited about. But the Ash and Garuda ones actually look like the models were being worked on. So a part of me is kind of like, soon? Now, and actually that would be a great thing to release kind of like side by side, because Ash has like the passive with the extra bleed damage and Garuda does all of the bloody bleeding things. Like, they could be the bloody couple. Why has nobody shipped them? They would be a really good ship. Okay, anyway, I need to stop. Now, all of that is really the major stuff. The stuff after this point is kind of like, I understand it's going to take some time, but let's not forget about this because you did promise these items. So the first thing on this was Modular Arcwing, which they actually mentioned in the last dev stream, that would be coming with a full Arcwing rework. I'm really, really curious to see how this all falls into place, but more specifically, somebody had mentioned it in the comment section of my videos, and what they had stated was, what happens to Odinata Prime? I didn't even think about that. That was not even in my head whatsoever, so I'm really curious how DE addresses the Odinata Prime action, because if I was in their position, I would not necessarily know how to do that, unless maybe the Prime portion is just, I don't even know. I don't even know. Anyway. Now, along with that, we of course have the Command Intrinsic, because we are focusing on the Railjack / Arcwing stuff here, and along with that, the Railjack crew. This was actually something that I talked about fairly, I guess maybe not fairly in depth, but something along the lines of like, listen, I want to be able to have my crew body slam enemies into things. I want my Lich to be able to pick up people who are boarding the ship and smash them into the ground. Like, that's what I want to see. Like, I want my crew to like get down and dirty and start fighting people off. That's what I wanted. And also they had stated before that, you know, being able to hire different members of the crew would allow you to kind of like change up some of the stats on your ship. So it seemed to have been a much bigger addition before, but now it just doesn't seem like it's a thing, because now we are the pilot of the ship, right? We don't hire a pilot to randomly pilot for us, right? Maybe we have a navigator that gives us extra bonuses, but it would be nice to see that implemented, especially if we could hire parts of the crew to, like, let's say, increase the amount of ammo that we have in the forward cannons. Maybe we have another crew member that's like in, you know, weaponry that will keep the cooldown of our guns. What is it called? Like, you know, the heat accretion, it'll keep that low or something along those lines. You know, having these different crew members that we're able to hire from different factions, maybe even from syndicate factions, would be absolutely amazing. You know, maybe Red Veil would increase status chance or something along those lines, and Arbiters would grant base bonus damage. I don't know. Things along those lines would be really, really cool to add onto the ship. So I don't want it to just be the command intrinsic. I really want there to be some delivery on the Railjack crew, which we have yet to see anything of. Wow, grammar's out the window. Along the same vein, we also want to see Kuva Liches, the Railjack Kuva Liches, being introduced and having their own ships. Remember, there was this whole talk about they have their own ships and they're going to be able to, strengthen their battalions and you're going to need to fight your way in there. Then, of course, with that, Squad Link, which I'm going to be honest with you, if Squad Link doesn't happen, I wouldn't be too sad if it just, disappeared into the ether and was just another one of DE's promises that they did not follow through on. But, they promised Squad Link, right? So a part of me is like, okay, if you're going to put that in a TennoCon, you better. I love your marketing team, and I love how they go in for TennoCon and make a lot of crazy wild promises. But how about let's not do any crazy wild promises that you can't deliver on, okay? I'm just saying. So that's definitely something that I want to see integrated. Plus, I think Kuva Liches in Railjack will help kind of tie in the world a little bit more. Now, the other thing that they promised was Plains of Duviri. And again, this is, like I said, everything from Modular Arcwing on down. You can't see this list, but it's in front of me. Everything after Modular Arcwing is something that I get it if it doesn't release till, like, the back end of 2020. But legitimately, Duviri, let's not have another thematic launch release and, like, say, oh my god, look at this cool thing, and then not release it for another 2 years. Let's just, like, release it in the year that you promised it. Because I bet you anything that Duviri is not going to be coming out not going to be coming out till after this year's TennoCon. I have strong feelings of that. I would be absolutely shocked if they released Duviri before this year's TennoCon, but I don't think it's going to happen. And then the last little bit is, of course, some more customization. Kahora and Hydroid Deluxe. Would love to see them. I mean, personally, if, like, Kahora's Deluxe could skip ahead of everybody else's, I'd definitely be down for that. But listen, technically, if we're talking about the release in the line, Ash and Garuda did seem to actually be modeled first. So I would understand if they came before Kahora and Hydro Deluxe, but the art is absolutely fantastic on those, so I hope that we do end up seeing them soon. Regardless, that is my let's not forget about this list. Let me know how you guys feel about what I've stated down in the comments below. Is there anything on this list that you're absolutely brokenhearted that they have not delivered on yet? And is there anything else that I may have forgotten that they had promised in the past and not yet delivered? Because, again, I love DE. There's a lot of fun things that they end up doing with their game. Not difficult, but fun things that they do with it. And I understand fun is definitely on their list. However, I also don't like it when people promise something and then don't follow through on it, especially when it's people that we've spent money with. That's just me. I'm just saying. Kind of bad for business if you're not delivering on your promises. Regardless, let me know how you feel down in the comments below. And as always, love somebody, hurt nobody, and get rid of forced vacuum. We just gonna beat that horse into like a bloody pulp. We're just gonna be left with glue after we're done with that. Regardless, I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.